So anyway, at minus 12, you can see the volt is 110 or so. At minus 6, we're at 117. And back to line voltage at 122 or thereabouts. This is the vintage voltage device. It's a small enclosure. It basically converts your wall voltage, which is anywhere from 120 to 125 volts, to a voltage more suitable for vintage amplifiers, which prefer voltage from 110 to 117 volts. In addition, this device also has alarms in the event that your polarity is reversed on the outlet into which you're connected, or if the ground is absent. An alarm will sound in both those cases. On the top of the unit, there's a switch which allows you to select the power. It's a 4-position switch. In the first position, power's off, no power goes to the outlet. In the second position, you're at minus 12 volts. Third position, you're in minus 6 volts. And in the fourth position, you're at line voltage, whatever that may be. In that case, today here, out of my wall, I've got 121 volts. That's kind of low. It's often closer to 125. On the front of the unit, there's a normal IAC connector with an on-off switch. It's set up for 115 volts. Both legs are fused at 15 amps. Both the line, or the hot side, and the neutral side are fused. And it's a dual pole, dual throw, so that it disconnects both the hot and the neutral line when you turn it off. And then there are indicators for the power, the in power, the out power, the 12 volt DC power supply, and the 3 indicating MOVs. MOVs are a new, fairly new type of MOV by Little Fuse, which are indicating, and they have the thermal fuse as part of the MOV itself. And if the thermal fuse blows, you do have an indication. That's unlike most MOV devices, which like surge suppressors. They most of those surge suppression strips that you use have MOVs, but they don't tell you when the MOV is blown. And the MOV essentially blows anytime it receives a large enough voltage spike, which it tries to suppress and gives its life, and when it tries to suppress enough voltage. That can happen, and your surge suppressor will continue to operate and won't tell you that you have a blown MOV. These do. These lights will be on when MOVs are operating correctly, but if MOV blows and blows the thermal fuse, then that light will go out. You know that you have to replace that MOV. On the back of the unit, there are the fuses, 0.2 amps for the 12 volt DC power supply, and the outlet, power outlet is 4 amps. And that protects the basically the bucking transformer that's used to control the voltage. And of course there's the AC voltmeter there to tell you what voltage you're operating at. Now what I'm going to do is set up a, show you how it works. I'm going to set up a condition where I'm missing a ground or I have reverse polarity with this cord, and I'll plug this AC into the device there. Make sure it's off, and make sure I don't electrocute myself here, which would be unfortunate. And excuse me for waving the phone around. And plug into the wall outlet, which is 122 to 121 volts. And we can turn the unit on. When we turn the unit on, you can see that at this time we have input power, output power, 12 volt supply, 12 volt DC power supply, and all 3 MOVs. We look at the top of the unit. We can see we're at line voltage. We're at number 4, and we're at line voltage right now. And sure enough, if you look at the voltmeter, it's 122 volts. If we go back to position 1 with power off, there's no voltage. If we go to position 2, that's minus 12 volts. The light is lit for my